So it's the Christmas update, and the place is a mess. The workbench is a mess, and the track layout is done for prototype testing at least. Some areas are still foam core, but I'm taking the first runs of the final extent of the bench work, and it's going okay. Some of the track was so dirty from being new that it wouldn't conduct. I had to clean that up, polish it off, clean it off with alcohol, and it was filthy. Atlas track, when you get it in bundles of like 10 or 20, it's like becomes pretty oxidized and filthy, but it cleans up and it works well, and it's cheap. So the track, well, it's not the track rat, it doesn't have the track rat running, but it's the brave little Bachmann taking the first runs. The brave little Bachmann switcher. And now you get to see the extent of the track at a very prototypical speed. This is the main line coming up from LA. Comes out from what is going to be hills out of the tunnel and into the main switching layout, which is not yet decided, but there's a lot of spurs right now just for fun, and a lot of rail cars just haphazard everywhere because I had to move everything out of the way to an area I wasn't working on to do the areas I was working on. Goes through the yard area. This will be the Guadalupe yard in Guadalupe, California. It's a Union Pacific yard on the Union Pacific Coastal Division in Santa Barbara Subdivision, which is what I'm loosely modeling my layout on. Starts going up the big grade. This will be an industry area up here. I think it'll be the Phillips 66 refinery that's in Callender, which is just north of Santa Maria, just north of the Guadalupe, California yard. It's just north of Guadalupe and Santa Maria's. To the east of all that on a local line, the Santa Maria Valley Railroad, which is what I'm modeling for my switching area, loosely. Match the industries somewhat, and you know, the extent of the line. It's N scale, it's in a studio apartment. What you gonna do? Have to cut out a few bits. So the brave little Bachmann heads up the grade. Zoom out so you can get a better perspective. And these pillars will probably be gone, and it'll probably be mostly floating, and then I think I'll be able to get away with doing acrylic extensions up out of the top of grain silos, and it'll look cool. This will be a hillside. Probably, actually, totally this whole area here will be covered over, and there'll be an industry up here that comes out. The line will come out through there, but that'll be later. So, runs up along there, all this sloped foam, 2.1 to 2.2% grades. Actually, it's like 1.8 to 2.2. Has some stuff that's not in place. The tunnel goes up right there. Runs along. Sorry, I'm just trying to maneuver around all the tools and everything in my apartment, so I'm like stepping gingerly around stuff that's just everywhere. And back into the closet, and back into the corner of the closet. Around the corner, through the switches for the upper yard, which will be 3 tracks in the reverse loop to just park trains on that are kind of run-through trains on the main line. Oil tank car and intermodal and Amtrak will all run through, and then the local freight will come up from LA. Apparently the oil tank train, they've stopped, and they're going to start. Santa Arta oil field's not going to be shipping the oil tank train to LA, but Phillips 66 is shipping petroleum coke in rotary hoppers to Stockton, so I could be sending that north, which would be cool. But I'd have to trade out my old tank train for rotary hopper unit set. I tripped over the box of foam and back down the line. So it's a run through with reverse loops at either end, and then a yard, and then coming off the yard is a very short double track into the industrial area where there will be switching, and a local line will come up from, hopefully I'll have a triple track yard down here on the bottom loop, but I can't really get away with that actually, I don't think, without having the inner one really tight. So probably one long siding around the inside of the loop here, and then a spur coming off, and then a cassette setup so that I can mount a cassette to this edge here, and it'll extend over this way underneath here, and I'll just be able to put them up in there and mount them to run unit sets into the reverse loop and up onto the track. So maybe one or two, like a switch here and then another switch and then two spurs that'll be cassette, like a 6 to 8 inch wide platform that goes there on legs that I can mount cars on and then slide it in there, and then they can be a locomotive can come down, grab them and take them onto the track. So anyway, it was from what I started with, which was just that modeled area up there in the middle of the wall as just like a 4-foot section of layout, to what I have now in like a couple of months of just like, you know what, like 6, 8 car trains aren't doing it for me. I need to see how many really looks good compressed, because real trains are like, you know, so many freight cars and so many passenger cars, but Amtrak 8 car and then freight 12 to 15 car looks really good to me. And in the next update, hopefully you'll see some 10 to 15 car unit and manifest freight trains running through, and possibly even the Coast Starlight running through. We'll see. We've been having some trouble with those, and locomotives and decoders, caught up U42s with Digitrax decoders, and they're my oldest locomotives, and I think they just needed servicing or something. We shall see. Anyway, that's the update for now. That's the Christmas update. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Christmas Eve, and I was hoping to get this done and have testing going on by Christmas Day, so this is pleasing. It's on schedule, and I get to run trains tonight and tomorrow on just about as much mainline as I could fit in this tiny studio apartment. It is a pretty small studio apartment. You've pretty much seen it all, except the kitchen and bathroom, which you don't need to see. They're not in condition that I really want to show them all. The bathroom's okay, but the kitchen, it's not dirty, it's just, actually, no, I did my dishes. I could even show that off. Whatever, you don't need to see the kitchen. You need to see the railroad. Here it is. Yeah, oh, just printed out some buildings and stuck them on some foam core, something in there. Slugs of material for machining projects used as, you know, pseudo tanks or whatever. Old tape rolls as some kind of tank. Who knows? Whatever. Just trying to block stuff out and see how much room I have in there. One old building that I made as a truck stop, and then I'm just hacking it up into whatever, and it'll probably go by the wayside, or the roof might get removed to be used as a roof. The sides are just thin paper and not receiving. Anyway, alright, that's the update for now. Merry Christmas. Happy modeling. Cheers, everybody. Take care.